What's up, college football fans and Mean Green fans? Noe Valente here once again with a Mean Green Show. Today, joined by JD, we're going to recap this bowl game that North Texas played Boise State in yesterday, the Frisco Bowl. But before we get into all that, guys, you already know the drill. If you're a fan of college football, G5 football, consider hitting that like and subscribe button because that is truly all that we talk about. All right, JD. Well, thanks for jumping on. I know it's unfortunate. Another bowl worthy season and another bowl loss just to kind of cap off the Luttrell era, which is unfortunate. And, it was a tight game. North Texas was definitely in it the entire time, basically, and just couldn't quite squeeze it out. But you kind of not so much off topic, but not super centralized either. Wanted to touch on probably the saddest thing of the game for me yesterday was seeing KD go down. And for anybody listening, if you're a person of faith and you're a North Texas fan or just a college football fan, KD Davis is someone who could definitely benefit from your prayers and, just really hoping that whatever it is that happened to him, I don't know what happened, but that it's something that can, be corrected without too much setback for him. He's just one of those guys that a fringe draft guy, maybe could make a team, even as a free agent. And just when you're that close and tight, you really don't want to see guys like that go down right there at the tail end of their collegiate careers. And he could have opted out. He very well could have opted out. And, I don't think it really would have changed his stock had he done that. So, business-wise, I don't know if it was the best decision to play, but it's very admirable that he did. As a North Texas fan, it's fun for us to see him play, but I'm a really, really unfortunate occurrence that happened really late in the fourth quarter at that too. But anyway, JD, any thoughts on the bowl game?
Yeah, it's we really didn't know which way it could have went. It was when you have a coach get fired, interim staff, new coaches on the sidelines. It's it could have easily been a blowout because of Boise State. That team is a very talented. They played for the Mountain West Conference Championship, and for most of the game, North Texas was in control. They had plenty of opportunities to win it. It was by no means a blowout. They were winning the game. I think the final line score was they were 12.5-point underdogs, and they had the ball with them, a minute and a half to left to win the game. So, I think they showed out and put up a good fight. That was kind of the end of the set there. And now, moving forward, it's the beginning of the Eric Morris era. So, I feel like they ended on a good note. Of course you want the victory, you want the win, but I thought, all purposes, I think they put up a good showing. The KD news, he did post a while back or a few hours ago that he's good. So that's a good sign. KD, okay. Manasseh, Mooney, those are three guys, I made a post this morning. Those are three guys that could have went, they could have went Power 5. They could have hit the portal and spent their last year of eligibility, battling in the SEC, Big 12, Big 10. All three of those guys decided to stay and finish it out one more ride at North Texas. So I think those three guys, obviously three different positions, three different players, linebacker, center, and kicker. But I think those three have anchored, all three phases of the game for North Texas the last, half decade. And I think they will all be remembered in a good light. And like I said, I think they all should and will be future, North Texas Hall of Famers. I think they all left it all on the field, and you got to give them credit.
Yeah. And, it's just I try not to show it too much on here, but I can get kind of emotional when it comes to North Texas football. And, I know I've been harsh to him. A lot of us have been harsh on Ani. And, sometimes the product he puts out on the field probably warrants frustration from a lot of fans, but just pregame, walking the field a little bit, he's out there asking, hey, can I get a picture of you while you're warming up? And of course he said, yeah, for sure. And just real brief exchange of words, but you can just, it's a bummer for Ani too. He could have rode out with, a win under his belt in a bowl game, and something that hasn't happened for a North Texas quarterback since Derek Thompson back in 2013. So, as frustrating as it is, it's just it's sad because there's no, in my opinion, there's no lack of his desire to want to win these games. I think he truly has a pretty competitive spirit and is a good, not really young man, but he's a good middle-aged man. And just to see kind of him have another game where it is frustrating to watch at times as fans. It's just it was just a bummer. It was just, I mean, it was good that it was a good game, but I mean, for whatever reason, those good games just seem to hurt more in some ways. But
the most frustrating part about Ani, I think, we've had quarterbacks in the past at North Texas. I remember from the Kearney days, there were some quarterbacks that just weren't Division I quarterbacks. The frustrating part about Ani is, he shows flashes of this guy could be a first-round quarterback. I mean, and that's not exaggerating. I mean, a couple of throws he made last night were NFL caliber throws. I mean, they were throws that several quarterbacks that play on Sundays can't make. And then, just goes, I don't know, politically way to correct it, but just goes full retard. And just, I mean, the pass where he hit the linebacker right in the middle, and it's like none of his interceptions this year have been, just a turnover in the red zone. That's it. I mean, it seems like every turnover or interception he's thrown has ended up either in a touchdown or a red zone appearance for the other team. So it's just, one extreme to the other. And I think that's then the most frustrating part. I mean, I think he cares. I think he's, has the talent. It's just, like I said, there's just one or two brain farts a game. It just seems like that just are backbreakers. I mean, you think about it, we lost by 3 points. We had 2 interceptions that the other team ended in 10 points. I mean, that's the difference in the ball game. I understand. I had a couple of buddies text me after the game and like, oh, it's not on Ani, defense, blah, blah, blah. Wide receiver should have caught it. It's like, you don't throw those 2 interceptions away. I mean, that's a, 10-point swing. But, and I think the fact that, I know the backup quarterback's the most popular guy on the team, but, Stone Earl came in and looked good. I mean, threw a touchdown, can run the ball. He's a dual threat. And I think that makes it even a little more frustrating is when you do see him come in there with a few packages and it seems like kind of gets a little momentum. They get the ball rolling and then, here comes back and on. But yeah, I mean, he's a great player. I mean, he's going to be in the record books, passing wise for North Texas. So you can't take that away from him, but he could be, I guess, one of the most Jekyll and Hyde players that North Texas has ever had.
Yeah, and not to to stay too Ani centric, but I'm not saying I don't know how much of a difference it would make. I mean, you can't help but think it would make somewhat of a difference. But he never really had a QB coach after really Graham Harrell left. I know he had that brief stint with one, but he just never really had a true QB coach to be there for him. I mean, Coach Shambar, cutting his teeth with his, with at North Texas, being a GA and everything. And I think, I mean, him and Cole Johnson might have been the biggest helps to him, being that they were, former quarterbacks and, maybe have a different perspective on things. And then Blesh gets moved to QBs. But I mean, that's a, there's a difference between Blesh getting moved to QBs and you really young guys like Coach Chambor and Coach Johnson, as opposed to a Coach Morris, who seems to be like a QB guy. So it was unfortunate for Ani or a Graham Harrell that he didn't really have the opportunity to get molded while he was here by a QB coach consistently. So anyway, who knows? Maybe we would be sitting here with one bowl championship had he had that. But
yeah, and just to kind of throw out, I mean, we can talk about the quarterback, but I think Akaka Ragsdale kind of cemented that he's kind of a running back for the future. I mean, I'm not sure what the future holds for some of those running backs in that room. We've heard some rumblings about transfer portal. Ragsdale's a guy that really kind of hope moving forward. Him and Jordan Smart, Damon Ward all had good games last night. That Kalen Horton, I think those are all some names that interested to see how they look moving forward in the Morris offense if they decide to stay and not test the portal.
Yep. Well, yeah, and this wasn't really the most exciting podcast that we've ever put out, but I mean, anything else we need to touch on before we jump off?
No, that's all I got.
Yeah. All right. Well, as always, go Mean Green.
Go Mean Green.